I find my life very fulfilling, especially after I retired, because every day I can discover new things and every new information and knowledge excites me. As I recalled, property market was slowing down since 2017 and the situation gets worse when it comes to 2019 when the COVID started. However, after COVID, inflation kicks in and that caused the price of the property to be skyrocketed. As property price in Singapore increases, rental increases as well, and that caused so many Singaporeans to think of alternative ways for retirement. For people like me who retire early, what is my solution to curb inflation? Well, my solution is very simple. My strategy is to buy as many good rental yield property as possible. So long as the rental yield is able to cover the monthly installment, I do not have to worry because as time passes by, rental will definitely increase due to inflation. And 15 to 20 years later, the installment will be fully paid. I will own the house and by that time, there will be capital appreciation as well. I will have the amount of money, cash on hand if I sell my property for my future expenses. If I do not want to sell it, I can also use the rental generated from the property to upkeep my monthly expenses. However, I'm not able to activate this plan in Singapore because I do not want to pay for the ABSD. I keep asking myself, is there any possibility that I am able to buy as many properties as possible for me to earn the good rental yield to upkeep my monthly expenses in the future? And at the same time, I'm not restricted by the ABSD. When we buy property for investment, we must be very sure that our property is able to rent out easily. How do we ensure that our property is able to rent out easily? If there is job opportunity, the property price will definitely increase. Why? Because people come to this place for a job, for a living, and when the population increase, while the supply of the property is limited, definitely the property price will increase. If you ask me which one is better, KL or JB, of course I will choose KL because KL is an international platform where the job opportunities is high. So definitely I will choose KL to invest to lower my risk for investment. The reason why many Singaporeans choose JB is because they are more familiar with JB. They seldom go to KL, so when they are not familiar with KL, it's very natural that they would choose JB as a starting point for the investment. Some might even think that they will just settle in JB because it's very near to Singapore. Anytime they want to go back to Singapore, they can just drive back, which is okay. However, as the trend to move to Malaysia is getting common, more and more Singaporeans will also explore KL as well. And sooner or later, KL will be crowded with people who come to invest. Not only Singaporeans, but also people from all over the world. By that time, if you ask me which area's property would increase in price better, I would say KL of course. It is because KL land is limited, but Iskandar alone is 6 times the size of Singapore. Singapore took 60 years to attain the current economic status. How long do you think Malaysia Iskandar will take in order for them to attain the current status of Singapore? In addition, KL is just like Singapore in terms of the economic structure, infrastructure, job demand, land scarcity. So definitely in terms of capital appreciation, KL will be doing much better than JB. Property prices in Malaysia is still undervalued and very affordable if you compare to the prices in the neighboring countries. Now is the best time to enter when the property price is still low. If you are also interested in KL property, this is a time for me to share with you what I have found out about KL. Malaysia property market is filled up by people of 3 different categories. The first one is the bottom 40%. We call it B40. Second category, we call it the M40, which represents the 40% of the middle class. And on top of the hierarchy are the top 20%, which represent the rich. They are called the T20. The entire Malaysia economy is supported by the M40 and T20. When we buy property, we need to ensure that the property that we are buying are popular among the M40 and the T20 because we want to rent out our property to them. And in the long run, this property will have capital appreciation as well. Do you ever wonder why people lay long the property? If the property can be rented out, there shouldn't be any problems. But why are people still layloning the property? Basically, there are two reasons. Number one, the buyer did not spend time to manage the property and rent out to collect rent to cover the installment. Number two, it could be because the property is too old and the owner do not have the money to renovate it. So it has been kept there for quite some time and not being able to rent out. In other words, property investment is all about cash flow, whether we are able to manage our cash flow properly. Now come back to the topic on how to buy property which are able to rent out easily. If we are talking about the Golden Triangle Zone, we can look at it this way. Golden Triangle Zone is just like Singapore Marina Bay, where all the financial hubs are. The property located in the Golden Triangle is very suitable for Airbnb business. As such, prices of property in the Golden Triangle Zone is almost double the price of what you can get outside the Triangle Zone. This explains why the local will not buy property inside the Triangle Zone unless they are the top 20. Let's shift our attention and put it on those M40 and T20. Where will they buy the property if they are not buying properties in the Golden Triangle Zone? They are buying properties just outside the Triangle Zone. To help you understand better, now let me quote Singapore's case for example. In Singapore, the ultra-rich will stay in Marina Bay, right? How about the not so ultra-rich but they are also considered the rich? The rich will stay where? They will stay in Bukit Timah, right? So, are you aware where are the areas that is considered or equivalent to Singapore Bukit Timah, where the rich stays? Like I mentioned just now, when we buy property, we need to know where are the popular area that the M40 and the T20 will buy. So this video is going to share with you where are the properties you can invest your property in. Stay tuned for our next video because I'll be sharing with you where are the areas where the local M40 and T20 will be buying the property. If you do not wish to lose out on all the important information about Malaysia property investment, please remember to subscribe and give me a like before you leave. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!